there's always that one person in the world who's ready to listen to you, to listen to your feelings, to listen to what exactly are you experiencing in your daily life. The only task for you is to communicate to that person.
Hello everybody, I hope you're all doing good. Welcome to another episode of the mental health series. This lockdown isn't getting over any sooner, and the pace at which COVID is spreading, I think we're going to be here a little longer. So keep at it. Today's episode is a special one because I am having a professional over to talk about mental health issues, mental health disorders, and I think I'm really grateful for it because the entire motive of me starting this series was to spread awareness about mental health. We've had an entrepreneur, an artist, a doctor, a musician over, and I'm so grateful to all of them because they came and they talked to me about their stories, and I'm sure a lot of you got something out of it. The person who's coming over to join us for the conversation is Gargi Chauhan. She is a clinical psychologist, a professional, and she's had her papers written and published in national conferences, and she's been on the field for a very long time. And she's not stopping here, she's going forward and doing her Psych D. And just being able to have her on my channel to talk about all of these issues is a privilege. And I'm really looking forward to this, and I hope you guys stick till the end because it's going to be a really insightful session. So without further ado, let's call Gargi Chauhan. Hi Gargi, welcome to my channel and thank you so much for doing this.
Hi Sagrika, and hello everyone. So I really appreciate that you're doing this thing, and it's my personal belief that whenever we talk about mental health on any kind of platform, and there are a lot of people viewing this particular video right now, so we will know that who exactly are we actually helping out unintentionally also. So someone could be just watching it and having some insight about his or her behavior after the video gets over.
I know how busy your schedule is right now, and I think you're a little sick as well. But you're still doing this, so thank you so much.
My pleasure.
So Gargi, I really think a lot of people watching this, including me, will have a similar question that we are not really sure about what exactly does a clinical psychologist do. So can you please briefly explain to us that what exactly comes under your work profile as a clinical psychologist?
So as a clinical psychologist, I have three main tasks. First is to undertake the psychological testing of the client. On the basis of the testing, we come to a diagnosis for the client, and then after we've made the diagnosis, we start with the treatment plan. Now the treatment plans needs to be really individual specific so that the client can have maximum benefits out of whatever we are catering about his needs and wants, etc.
Okay, so moving ahead, Gargi, there's something I really wanted to ask you that there are these two words that are being used very frequently nowadays, those two being anxiety and depression. And I think not all of us very clearly know about what each word means, and हम उसे बहुत randomly यूज़ कर लेते हैं. People don't realize कि वो कब कहाँ किसको कैसे रेफर कर रहे हैं. तो can you please go ahead and explain कि exactly anxiety क्या होता है, exactly depression क्या होता है, and what are the what are the basic what exactly does a person feel and what exactly goes on in that person's mind while they're having those feelings.
So you're absolutely right that these terminology have been used really casually along especially the younger generation, because they really want to identify and be aware of what exactly anxiety looks like and what depression looks like. So I'll just briefly initially start with covering anxiety, and then we can probably move to depression. So let's start with what exactly anxiety is. Anxiety, if we talk about it, it's a feeling of uneasiness and this worry in ourselves, which can range from being mild, moderate to severe. Now, anxiety is something which every one of us, you, me, and the people probably watching this video have at some point of their life faced. and experienced such feelings. So it could be when you were giving your first board exams, or maybe when you were applying for your dream interview, walking in that office, or you could say that I begged for myself, I had to sit for my entrance, for my MPhil examinations. So everybody has experienced anxiety at some point in their life. So what we need to be aware about is when this anxiety becomes troublesome and turns into a mental health issue. Now, in order to know that, we need to figure out that whether these feelings of anxiety are disrupting your social and occupational functioning of daily life. If the answer is yes, then probably there's something, or there's a need for you to actually consult a professional and get some help in order to revive yourself from those feelings. We'll start initially with the types of anxiety disorders which are really prevalent in our current general population. The first one being generalized anxiety disorder. So in generalized anxiety disorder, the first and the foremost essential feature is that the anxiety is generalized and persistent amongst all your situations and not just a particular context. So, for example, if you're going for an interview, or if you're going to a family wedding, or maybe you're sitting in at your job desk, working on something, so the person looks as if he's in this constant state of worry, and there's something or the other that's going on in his mind. So he's never at ease with himself, and all of these tensions eventually starts having the person experience certain motor tensions, which could be, he might just start sweating too easily, and then you can visibly see that he's the breathing rate is not as normal as it could be for you, and also there's this restlessness in his body language. So that's how you can identify this. The person is in a state of tension, and there's something that is not okay with the person at the current moment. So that's how generalized anxiety client would look like. Now, the second type of anxiety disorder I would want to talk about is the social anxiety. Now, social anxiety is something which a client usually experiences whenever the client is in a social situation. It could be your professional get-togethers at office, or it could be as simple as your wedding, maybe your house weddings, or some household functions as well. So in this particular social anxiety client, whenever the person is in a social situation, there's a fear of criticism that someone or the other might just start criticizing the person, or also there is a fear of public speaking in these individuals. Other than that, they just avoid being around people and around, especially going to a very big gatherings, because there is this constant fear that if they have to confront somebody, they will not be able to do it, and that's how their behavior of avoidance starts coming up eventually in their life towards social situations. Now, these symptoms, all of these symptoms of avoidance, fear of confrontation, fear of being of public speaking to others, all of this might eventually gradually grow up, and the person might start facing certain panic attacks while the person is being asked to go in a social situation. So now we're going to discuss the third type of anxiety disorder, and this one is really interesting because आपकी लाइफ में क्या, मेरी लाइफ में भी there are काफ़ी सारे लोग ऐसे होते हैं जिनको थोड़ा ऐसे आदत होती है कि सब कुछ साफ रहे और सब कुछ ऑर्डर में रहे, एंड कुछ भी चीज़ अगर हम इधर उधर करते हैं या फैला देते हैं, सो द पर्सन स्टार्ट्स गेटिंग ऐसे कि अरे व्हाई डिड यू डू दिस, मैंने कहा था ना इसको यहाँ रखना है, देन व्हाई डिड यू मूव इट हियर, सो these kind of people. So that's exactly what I'm talking about right now, and these are the people who are a little way too much into cleaning and placing things in order and all of that. Now, we need to identify when this cleaning habit, it could be a normal person cleaning as well, right? So, when does this cleaning habit becomes a mental health issue? That is where we need to make ourselves aware about. So, when we talk of OCD, we usually talk about कि fear of contamination होगा या फिर सिर्फ saaf safai and all of that, we generally relate obsessive compulsive disorder with saaf safai. But that's actually not true. OCD is not just limited to your fear of contamination. It could be a wide range of obsessional thoughts, which could include your sexual thoughts, which could include thoughts about probably violence, or maybe thoughts which are in which you are very obsessively thinking about certain religious ideas, and probably there are these obsessions about harming oneself or harming others as well. So it's not just the content of your obsessional thoughts, it's not just related to contamination, it could be of various other kinds of obsessional thoughts in the client as well. So in this condition, there is an obsessional, repetitive and intrusive thought that keeps coming again and again in a client's mind, even if the client doesn't want it to be there. This leads to the feelings of anxiety within the client, and the client has to undertake certain compulsive actions, which are known as compulsions, in order to get a release from the obsessional thoughts. And this particular relief is very short-lived, and there is a chance that the obsessional ideas might just stop at that particular moment, but after a few hours or after a few, probably a day or more, the obsession thoughts start coming up over and over again, and then the person will go through the entire cycle once again. So you see, that's how a client with obsessive compulsive disorder gets stuck in this particular cycle, and it's my job to break this cycle and help him come out of his obsessional thoughts and compulsions.
Gargi, you're explaining disorders like OCD and social anxiety. There's also another disorder we keep hearing about, which is a panic attack. A lot of my friends have gone through it, and I'm sure you generally hear it a lot. So what exactly happens in a panic attack, and why does a person go through it?
So when we talk of panic attack, मैं बहुत easy way में अगर इस चीज़ को बताऊँ तो वो ये होगा कि जब किसी को पैनिक अटैक आता है तो उस इंसान को ऐसा लगता है कि ही इज़ वेरी क्लोज टू डेथ, एंड वो उसको इतना ज़्यादा उसकी बॉडी में रेस्टलेसनेस, ब्रीदिंग अप डाउन, एंड देयर इज इंक्रीज इन हार्ट रेट, देयर स्वेटिंग, देयर इज the person might just lie on the floor, and might just, a lot of people might just start collecting around the person, which is never supposed to be done. Whenever you see a person having a panic attack in a crowded place, or maybe somewhere you are at, never let the person be crowded with a lot of people. Let him have some space to breathe. The person is already in a state of tension, and when he sees a lot of people gathering around him, so it could actually amplify the condition. So I'll just briefly tell you how exactly a panic attack works when it occurs in an individual. So as you can see on your screen, there's a triggering stimulus in the environment. It could be different from every individual. Now, whenever an individual is in the environment and faces the triggering stimulus for himself, he senses a threat kind of a situation for himself. Now, this perceived threat on himself leads to apprehensions. Apprehensions are if we understand it, they are the states in which the person starts overthinking, starts having a state of tension in his body. Now, when the state of tension starts occurring, there are certain body sensations in the person. As I previously mentioned, that they might just start having restlessness, the breathing might go up and down, there's an increase in heart rate, there's palpitations, etc. All of these comes under body sensations. Once the body sensations start happening, the person has an interpretation of these body sensations as being really catastrophic. So, as I mentioned, that the person feels that it is almost that his end is near. So that's how he exaggerates those body sensations and thinks of them as that he's going to die in this moment. And this feeling that he will die in this moment actually increases all of these tensions in his body, and the panic attacks continues for some time. So I think this was enough technical knowledge as per anxiety for everybody out there. My main motive was right now talking about all of these disorders was exactly that how can you actually identify that whether you're having a disorder like situation or is it a normal anxiety feeling you're having. That's why I discussed the few common conditions of anxiety which are very much prevalent in our general population.
Gargi, thank you so much for explaining all those terms in a very simple manner. And I hope everyone who's watching this is able to understand the difference now. But before we move on, can you please also explain that how an individual on their personal level deal with anxiety, on a daily basis?
So yeah, sure. That's actually a nice question. There are certain techniques, and all of these techniques are called distraction techniques. So the statement stands for itself that all of these techniques help an individual get distracted to what he's feeling in the moment. And right now we have to get distracted from the anxious feelings we're having. The first technique could be focusing on any object in your environment. Now this technique can be applied by, so if in my environment there's this painting on my backside, so we just have to select a particular object and we have to start noticing the features of those objects. And so it has a purple flower, the background is yellow, it has a wooden border. So that's how I am channelizing my thoughts into something else. And when I'm doing that, the feelings of anxiety are somewhere going at the back of my mind. They're not. So eventually क्या होगा कि आपकी जो feelings of जो anxiety है वो कम होती जाएगी और आपका ध्यान दूसरी जगह लग जाएगा. So that's what happens in focusing on an object. Another technique could be that at our individual level, we start thinking about the pleasant past memories. So all of us have wonderful, wonderful memories of our past, and these memories actually can help us deal with the feelings of anxiety we're facing in the current moment. So if you're replacing the feelings of anxiety with feelings of happiness in your life. That's one of the techniques. So you should probably just hit and trial with these techniques, and any one of them might just actually do wonders for anybody.
Gargi, thank you so much for taking all the questions and answering them in a very simple and precise manner. I'm sure everyone watching is a lot more clear about everything that you just said. And I'd just like to mention this before we go forward, that she has a YouTube channel with the name of Just Mind, and you really need to check it out, and I'll put the link below. And she also has an Instagram page with the name of Mind Gym, and she posts amazing stuff. I myself, I keep going back to it once in a while to read what new is there in the Instagram feed, because it's always so helpful and not the general stuff that we generally read everywhere. It's so different and it's so appropriate for what you're feeling at that point of time. So first of all, thank you, Gargi, for taking up the initiative of putting out such great content. I'd also like to mention that I'm gonna have a couple of episodes with Gargi coming up on this channel itself, where we'll talk about more topics on mental health. The next one being depression, but mind you, not the typical depression, but the other one. And I think we all really need to know about it. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Gargi, for doing this, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.